Curiosity connects us all. Humans around the globe are wired to discover and observe, share what excites us, and teach others what we've learned. Citizen science is an extension of our natural curiosity. It's what happens when members of the public collaborate with professional scientists on projects that further serious research. The Black River Action Team, a grassroots volunteer organization based in Windsor County, Vermont, invites you to become a dragonfly detective as part of an ongoing project to learn about these amazing creatures. Working in southeastern Vermont and neighboring southwestern New Hampshire, citizen scientists will help BRAT learn which dragonflies are present in our area, the kinds of habitat they're using, and provide a great foundation for more targeted dragonfly research for years to come. Dragonflies excite our imaginations, darting in every direction and stopping instantly to hover mid-air. Ferocious predators of the sky, adult dragonflies hunt and dive bomb, devouring all kinds of other insects, from mosquitoes to horseflies, and sometimes each other. But dragonflies don't begin life with wings. The female lays eggs in or near water, and the larval nymphs spend months to several years beneath the surface, hunting and hiding in the substrate. While aquatic, dragonfly nymphs are vital members of the food web. They eat a wide range of animals, from mosquito larvae and aquatic worms to tiny fish and even tadpoles, and are nutritious meals themselves for fish and frogs. When the time is right, a dragonfly nymph crawls up out of the water onto land, dries its larval exoskeleton, splits it open, and emerges from it as a fully formed adult dragonfly. Unpacking a long abdomen and wings, the fragile new dragonfly takes roughly half an hour to pump its delicate new body with fluid before it's dry and hardened enough to fly away and find a mate and food. This process is called eclosure, and the empty exoskeleton left behind is known as an exuvia. There are some 5,000 species of dragonflies worldwide, about 650 species in North America, and roughly 150 species confirmed in Vermont. We can learn more about these insects and about the environment if we can confirm more species and when and where they eclose. Our observations will be shared with the Vermont Atlas of Life, Vermont Center for Eco-Studies, and various national and international dragonfly organizations. Our observations will be recorded on a project page at iNaturalist.org to share with the global scientific community. What are we looking for? The non-living shed exoskeletons of dragonflies. You might be surprised by the wide array of different types of dragonfly exuviae. Some are pretty small, and some are rather impressive. Other insects also eclose and leave behind exuviae. There are some ways, though, to tell them apart. Cicadas are not aquatic at any point in their life cycle, but they do leave exuviae. Often found on tree trunks and twigs, cicada exuviae have a very different structure from dragonflies. They look more like a smooth-shelled beetle with big crab-like claws. Mayflies spend their larval stage in the water, but they eclose right on the surface of the water, so their exuviae are likely to be found on the water or washing up on shore. Mayfly exuviae tend to have 3 long, thin, thread-like tails, unlike dragonfly exuviae, which lack any kind of long tail. Some species of dragonfly do sport pointy bits at the end of their abdomen, but they are definitely not tails. Stonefly larvae are also aquatic. They usually hang out on bridge abutments, rocks, and other hard surfaces to eclose. Stoneflies also have long bodies with 2 thread-like tails and are usually pretty obvious. The damselfly, cousin to the dragonfly, leaves behind a very thin, long exuvia, usually pretty close to the water, most likely on vegetation. Damselfly eyes are large and bugged way out to the sides of a relatively small, wide head. A good rule of thumb is if you aren't sure if what you found is a dragonfly exuvia, collect it anyway and we'll figure it out later. How will we do this? It's pretty simple. You start by picking a water body close to your home that you can get to easily and often. At least once a month is good. Every week or 10 days is ideal. This could be a pond, lake, river, stream, wetland, or even a small trickle in the woods. As long as the water never fully dries up, there's a good chance that a dragonfly may have laid eggs. Take your time and explore a section of the shoreline. Larvae have been known to crawl several feet from the water, both along the ground as well as up. Exuviae have been spotted many feet up the side of a bridge abutment. Let your eyes settle, look high as well as low. If it's not a windy day, you can try using a long-handled net, like an inexpensive butterfly net, or even your paddle to gently dislodge exuviae from spots beyond your reach. Exuviae can be very challenging to spot if they are on mud, twigs, shoreline moss, or tree trunks. Dragonflies can begin emerging from the water as early as April in Vermont, and some are active in late fall if the weather's warm enough. Gently pull the exuvia off whatever it's clinging to. A broken leg isn't the end of the world, but intact is most helpful. Remember, these are not living organisms, you aren't hurting any creature. If you have to snap off a small bit of plant in order to get the exuvia, that's okay too. Try to remove the exuvia carefully from the plant after you've collected it. Have a clean, dry container ready for collection. Plastic is durable, waterproof, and floats, so long as it has a tight-fitting lid. It is most helpful if you use a different container for all exuviae collected at one site. For instance, one jar for all the exuviae found on a rock wall, and a separate jar for all the ones found on vegetation along the nearby shoreline, even if all exuviae are collected on the same day. It is important to keep the specimens dry. Dampness leads to mildew and other problems when attempting to ID the exuvia. If you leave the container open on a counter for a day or two, it should dry pretty thoroughly. Since the dried exuviae are very delicate, send as many as you find, even if they all look the same. Don't just collect one and leave the rest. This way, even if several are broken, there are bound to be others in good enough shape to identify. Plus, some different species are very similar in body shape. Check the weather forecast. Exuviae are easily dislodged by rain and wind, since they are paper thin and extremely lightweight. If a storm is expected, try to get out and look for exuviae beforehand. Any time of day is fine. Search when it suits your schedule. In order for your collection efforts to be truly helpful to the overall project, it's vital to know where and when your exuviae were found. The date is important, your name and email or phone number, the name of the body of water you were on or near, the town you were in, and some specifics on where the exuviae were, up a tree trunk, on the sand or mud, a few inches up a blade of vegetation, shoreline, mid-river, that sort of thing. A small notepad and pencil can be used to jot this information down in the field while you're on safari. Then carefully slide the slip of paper into the sample container with your collection. Heavier paper like index cards can damage the fragile exuviae, so pre-cut slips of notepaper are probably best. GPS coordinates will be extremely useful in helping connect the location of your exuviae with habitat features that we can find from other sources, like the state of Vermont's soil database. The more we can learn about where dragonflies are breeding, the better we can connect them with the health of the overall ecosystem. If your phone or camera has GPS capability, you can snap a photo where you collect an exuvia and we'll automatically have the coordinates. If you're working from shore, make sure to wear boots or shoes that can get wet, and perhaps a change of clothing. If you plan to work from a boat, you'll need a personal flotation device for everyone in the boat, and have a plan for launch, as well as for takeout if those are not the same point. Regardless, bring insect repellent for ticks and other biting insects, wear sun protection, and bring some water to drink, your camera or phone for photos, and a notepad and extra pencil just in case. Contact BRAC Director Kelly Stetner to discuss pickup or drop-off of your exuviae. Thanks for signing on to be a Dragonfly Detective with the Black River Action Team. Have fun!